Graphic animation offers a wide range of possibilities. The trick is to know how to use them. That is what this video will do. Just remember, whether it be animation or special effects, a little goes a long way. It is important not to overuse them. Many of the effects on the tapes require that you have some kind of Luma key. This is found on NewTek's video toaster, Panasonic video mixers, and Sony mixers, as well as many others. Because the use of the mixers vary, this tape will not discuss how to operate the different mixers, just what you need to do to achieve the results. So read the instruction manual of your mixer to find out exactly how to set up the Luma key. Nonlinear editors are fast becoming the way of the future. If you have a nonlinear editor, you can still use these effects tapes. One way is to record the finished effect directly into the nonlinear editor instead of onto videotape. This assumes that you have a linear editing system linked to your nonlinear editing system. If it is a standalone nonlinear editor, I will be showing some examples of how to achieve the same results on such a system at the end of this tape. Now to get started. There are several types of effects on the tapes. The simplest to use, and those that require no additional equipment other than your tape decks, are the type that are used for titles. Here is a graphic called Father's Day. This type of effect just needs to be recorded onto your edited master before your camera footage, like this. Editing systems vary, but for the greatest use of these effects, you should have at least the ability to key in titles over existing video. This same Father's Day effect becomes more personalized by using a name and date. Think of using CG titles on many of these effects. Another use of the character generator would be in the bridal book openings found on Volume 8 of Rabbite's graphics tape. You can place a title over one of the pages in the book. Run the tape to the point where the book opens to a blank page. Pause the tape. Type in a title and center it on the page. Then run the tape, and right after the page opens, fade in the title. Straight cuts are fine, but there are times when you will need to do some effects. So you should have some kind of video mixer. Here is a basic effect that you can do with a simple mixer that has at least two inputs, the ability to freeze a frame of video, and to do rectangle wipes. First, let's look at the title page we just did. You may feel that it is not on the screen long enough. You could just do a series of cuts to lengthen the scene. A better way would be to freeze the page with your mixer. Then do an edit for the length that you want the title to appear on the screen. Now let's go one step further. How about after the title, we bring in a piece of video on that page? We already have the page as a freeze frame in our mixer. Start playing a tape. Go to your wipe control and set it for a rectangle. Size it so that the video stays within the area of the page. After you have the correct size, find the section of video you actually want to use. Fade it out. Start your edit so that you are recording the freeze frame of the page. Now start your tape that has the scene you are going to use. Fade in the video. Now rather than just fading it out, move your T-bar to make the image go full screen. For the next examples, you will need some kind of video mixer that allows you to do Luma key like a Panasonic MX30 or MX50. The video toaster also has these features and can be used. Any mixer will work as long as you have the ability to key in video over black. Here is an example of the opening of a wedding video. At this point, you don't need an A/B roll system. The opening scene can be a freeze frame. The example you are looking at was done by freezing a frame of video in an MX50 and running the graphic videotape on the source machine. If you are working with one of Panasonic's mixers, the setup is as follows. Play the tape which contains the footage that you want to have appear in the black area of the effect. Run this through the A bus. When you have the frame you want, freeze it. Then remove this tape and place in the graphics tape. Play this tape through the B bus. Run it down to the point where the black cutout appears. Press the Luma key button. Bring the T-bar to the B bus position. Now adjust the slice knob until the frozen image appears in the black cutout area. Now back up the graphics tape to the beginning of the effect and make your edit onto the edited master. Here are some examples of what you can do with a single source recorder and a video mixer that has both Luma key and freeze frame capabilities. Now here is where it can become interesting and fun. The following effects require that you have two source machines with an A/B switcher. These can be done without a switcher, but that requires a little more work since we will be achieving frame accuracy in some of these examples. As you know, a switcher can control two or more VCRs. This allows you to make cuts on exact frames. Granted, the same can be accomplished by using the pause buttons on your recorders, but this takes a lot more work and is not always as accurate. If you don't already own a switcher and are serious about your video production career, you should look into obtaining one. By using two source machines, you will be able to key in live action video, not just still images.
Do something good, John. Yeah. Right there, guys. Hold it steady. Look at the camera, guys. Which one? Mine. What camera? Right there, good. Good. Okay. Now this time face your best man. Good. Closer.
Here is one example, an effect called reception doors. This is a great way of starting a reception portion of an event video. Cue up the start of the reception on one player and feed that through the A bus. Zero the time counter on your switcher. On your second player, cue up the reception door effect to the point where the doors just start to open. Zero your counter on this player at this point. Now back up the reception effect to where it actually starts. Read the counter number. Now back up your reception tape to that same number. Set your mixer for Luma key and bring the T-bar down to the B bus position. Start your edit with your switcher, or if you are doing this by hand on the fly, use your fingers to release the pause buttons. Once the doors have completely opened, you have two options. You can move the T-bar up to the A-bus position and leave the scene continue until you reach your next edit or camera stop, or stop all tapes and do a match frame cut from the reception tape to the edited master. The reason for doing either is that your effects tape is still running, and if you left the T-bar in the B-bus position, another effect would come in where you don't need it. If you are editing without a switcher and started your source machines by hand, you could just press the stop button of the recorder with the graphics tape and allow your reception tape to continue. Here are some more examples of using Luma key.
I'm married now.
If you have the right equipment, like a nonlinear editing system or a recorder which will run backwards, you can run the effect in reverse. Many graphic tapes have background graphics. These can be used for transitions between scenes, to open certain kinds of videos, or as backgrounds for titles. You can also use them as backgrounds for picture-in-picture. The picture-in-picture is accomplished by using your mixer to reduce the size of the image and position it somewhere on the screen. Here are just a few examples. If you are using a non-linear editor system, read the instruction manual on how to accomplish alpha channel effects. An alpha channel in a nonlinear editor is the same as the Luma key on a video mixer. For NewTek Flyer owners, there is yet another way to do this. You will need to buy two other programs: Render Effects from ProWave and Fast Frames from Osware. Fast Frames has a program within it called Superclips. You start by digitizing both the effect you want to use and the camera video. Place them both in a project. It is important to place the camera video first and the video that has the black cutout second. Set the starting and ending points in both clips. Now go to the Effects drawer. Open up the Control Panel. Open the Super Clips drawer. Select the icon called Super Starts. Place this icon in between the two video clips. Run the Super Clips program. If you have Copilot, you can do this by pressing the left omega key and the lowercase letter C at the same time. Then select Fast Frames from the directory and then select Super Clips. Set the Luma key on black and pick a number between 35 and 45. I've selected 35. Set the visibility on opaque. In order to be able to use the preview feature, one of the clips must be on the Flyer A drive and the other must be on the Flyer B drive. This is only the preview. The program will render no matter where the clips are located. Press the Preview button. The program will now show you the Luma key effect in real time. You'll notice that the key effect is not that clean around the edges. This means the Luma key setting needs to be changed. Try changing the setting a few numbers at a time. I've now selected 40, and this seems to be the proper setting. Once you are happy with the setting, press the Render key, and in just a few minutes, you will have a Flyer clip with the Luma effect. What I have just shown you is all you need to know about being able to use graphic tapes. You will either be using them as a title, as a background for titles, or as a Luma key. In many cases, you can use a combination of all three. Here is an example of several types being used all at the same time. It is an opening that I use for showing baby pictures on an event video. First, I created a background frame. I did this in my video toaster. I used a program called Composite Studio, but you can do this with any paint or graphic program. My background frame is made up of 3 different graphics. The 2 in the upper left and right of the screen came from clip art. The image in the lower left came from a single frame at the end of the animation. The entire effect is actually done in several parts. First, I bring up my background. In my editing system, I have this stored on my video toaster and play this into my MX50 mixer. However, you could have this on a separate tape and just play it into the mixer. Then I start the animation. However, at the point in the video where the ball starts to move, I use my MX50 to compress the video to fit onto the background, and just as the compressed video reaches its end point, I dissolve it out of the scene, showing only the background. At this point, I stop my edit and set up for the next part. I switch tapes on the recorder that was just playing the animation and place in a tape that has a still photo. I set the compression so that the photo is in the lower right-hand corner of the background. Then I fade it out and start the edit from the point I last left off. So in one channel, I am feeding the background, and in the other channel, I am feeding the still photo. The size of the compressed photo has been set and is faded out. I start the edit, fade in the photo, and after a few seconds, run the compression in reverse so that the photo fills the screen. Take another look. You now understand how to accomplish these different effects. Here are some examples of everything that has been covered on this tape. We hope it will give you ideas for your next video. Put on your thinking cap, and I'm sure you'll come up with hundreds of ideas of your own.
Congratulations to the bride and groom. Hey, Fred, you're doing a terrific job.